Hi everyone, it's Lesley Oman here from Hungry Hefty Crafts, and today I've got a card for honeybee stamps. This card that I'm sharing today is a slider card, but it features this really cool little snail and also some of the awesome text stamps that you can get from Honeybee Stamps. So let's get started. I'm starting today with some Tim Holtz watercolor distress cardstock here. And I'm going to be doing some inking, and I'm using a shaving brush just to lightly brush the surface with my ink. I'm using some Simon Says Stamp dye ink here, and I've got the green apple is the one that I'm predominantly using. I'm going to be using this piece of cardstock to cut into two panels. First of all, I'm using the grassy hillside border die, and then I'm going to line the die up again exactly over the first piece that I have cut, so that I have got two identical pieces of this grassy hillside. And this just makes it a lot easier when I use the stitched hillside border, the coordinating one, on the top layer, so I can get it lined up perfectly. So now I've got a nice smooth hillside on top and then the grass at the bottom. I'm going to add a little bit more ink to these because I want to really make the grass pop against the background of the card. Now I'm going to take some more of that same watercolor cardstock. I'm going to run it through my Cuttlebug using two dies. I've got a stitched rectangular die here from Lawn Fawn, and also a scalloped rectangle die. That's from Mama Elephant, the all prettied up die. So I've cut out a frame and also just one with the scalloped rectangle, so I've got a background as well. I want to cut my grass in with the same scallop rectangle die, so I'm sticking my grass together so it doesn't move with a little bit of washi tape, and then I'll run that through my Cuttlebug as well. So now what I've got is my background. I've got my grass and a frame that can go on top, and I'm going to be using this die. This is one of the slider dies from Lawn Fawn. The set is called Slide On Over, and it matches the stitched hillside border dies. It's got the same movement to it, and I'm only going to be cutting that groove into the top panel, and that's going to allow my little snail to crawl across the front of my card. Speaking of Mr. Snail, let's get him stamped up. I'm stamping him with some Memento Tuxedo black ink onto some cardstock, and I'm going to let that dry and move over to the greetings. There's some awesome greetings in this stamp set. This is the Sentiment Builder, and I'm picking out a few of the words here, and I'm going to join it with this stamp set here, the Life is Beautiful one. These are awesome. They compare together to make so many great greetings and sayings, and it's really boosted my stash. So I'm going to actually make a card that says thank you for being a, and then I'm going to use the word fabulous from the Life is Beautiful set and finish that off with friend underneath. Let's move over to Mr. Snail. I'm going to be colouring him in today, and I'm decided to reach for my colouring pencils. I've not used them in a while. So I'm going to add some colour using my Spectrum Noir pencils. I'm using a peachy coloured for his body, and then a light pink along one of the inside lines, and blending that out with a grey tone. Once I've added some of the colour using my colouring pencils, I'm going to go back in with a paper stump and a little bit of Gamsol or blending solution just to blend some of those pencil marks together. There we go. Now I have fussy cut Mr. Snail, but the great news is that Honeybee Stamps have now released matching dies for their stamp sets, so you can get coordinated dies for that stamp set as well. And he's from the special delivery set from Honeybee Stamps. Okay, so now I've got my frame. He's going to go down here, and I've got my word fabulous. That's going to go right underneath what I've already stamped. And to do that, I'm going to use my Misty. I'm lining my stamp up onto the card exactly where I want it, and picking up the stamp using the door of the Misty tool. And I'm going to use some dye-based inks to stamp this. I've picked out two colours of pink, and I'm going to create a two-tone stamping technique or effect. I'm using the light colour first of all to stamp the word fabulous, And this is a textured cardstock, which is another reason why I use my Misty, because I like to stamp it twice to make sure I get a good impression. So I've stamped it twice using the light color. And then this is a slightly darker color of pink. And I'm holding my ink pad at an angle and just rubbing the ink onto the bottom half of the stamp. You can see it better in the photos, and I'll show you more at the end, but let's just stamp the word friend at the bottom here so that I have that complete. Now I'm going to stick my slider section, my smooth grass, onto the front frame using some sticky tape. And I will attach the inside panel, making sure it's all lined up nicely in behind my frame. I'll stick that down. And I wanted to bring in another color to tie in with Mr. Snail. So Mr. Snail, I colored his shell with pink and grey. So I'm taking some fog ink from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm adding some of these really cute hearts. And this is from the Country Wreath stamp set from Honeybee Stamps. And there's 2 different sizes of this heart. So it works really well together. So let's stick down my spiky grass on top of that. And I can build up my top layer, and I want it to be raised up. So I'm using some foam tape here, and I'm cutting it in half because the frame is quite thin. And I'm putting down the foam tape all around the outside. And I'm also going to need some along the top section of that grass. For now, I'm going to move over to the slider mechanism. Now I've just pulled out a button which fits within this groove here. You can buy on the market some little slider mechanisms, but this will work fine for me. And I've cut another little circle of cardstock to go underneath, and I will glue my button onto that cardstock circle with a little bit of Ranger Multi Matte Medium. While that dries, I'll place an acrylic block on top to make sure it gets a good bond, and I'll move over to adding some of the foam tape along the top of my smooth grass. Now when going around corners with foam tape, if you peel off both sides of the backing, you will get it to curl round corners a lot easier. Just testing that my circle is going to glide smoothly along there, and I just needed to trim off a little tiny bit so it wasn't catching on the foam. Now I can add on Mr. Snail. Add a little bit more of my multi matte adhesive and stick him on, and I'll just put him down onto my table with an acrylic block on top to make sure that dries. When I'm sure that he has completely stuck on there and he's not going anywhere, I can assemble the rest of my card. And I decided that I would stick the back onto the front face side down. And there we have Mr. Snail, and give him a test. Make sure he moves. There he goes. Oh, he's so cute. To finish off the card, I decided to pull out some pattern paper from my stash, and I've got this stripe paper. It's from My Mind's Eye, and it is pretty much exactly the same color as his shell, so it works really well with his stamp set and with my card. So I'm going to mount my scallop rectangle right on top of that pattern paper, which is on top of a note card. Thanks so much for watching this video with me, Lesley Oman from Hungry Effie Crafts, making this card on behalf of Honeybee Stamps. Check out all their awesome stamp sets and their new coordinating dies over at honeybeestamps.com. You can see the blog and the shop over there. If you like this video today, please leave a like and hit subscribe for more of my videos. Have a great day. Bye.